I suspect my son being a couple with his guy friend. I want to let him know it's okay.
Oh, wait, what?
That could have been
good.
that almost.
I was looking
turned
for
out
that to
bad.
switch up to bad, but that's good.
My boy is 20 years old. He's absolutely my pride and joy, and there is nothing he could do that would ever make me love him less. For the first half of his life, I regrettably wasn't involved very much. His mother and I parted ways when he was just a few months old. And at that time, I was struggling with a substance abuse problem and was probably not as present in his life as I should have been, nor was I suited to fatherhood at all. By the way, this comes from Throw a Love My Gay Son. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. So I saw him at most 2 to 3 times a year for the first 12 years of his life. I won't discuss details because that's his private story to tell. But when he was 12, he revealed to me that he was being badly mistreated at the hands of his mother and her boyfriend. Oh. Despite not being the best father at the time, I didn't want my boy suffering anymore. So I got myself cleaned up and sorted out in order to get full custody of him. I've effectively been a single and sober father ever since, and he has little to no contact with his mother. I mean, at least he stepped up. That's pretty good.
Shout out. This is a good start. This is a good start.
He's everything a man could want his son to be. He's uniquely kind and fiercely loyal. He's unflinchingly brave. He's incredibly generous, and despite the horrors he suffered as a child, he's unfailingly positive and sunny to the last. Somehow, I, of all people, was bestowed with the honor of watching him grow from a sweet young boy to the greatest man I have ever known. I cannot stress enough pride in him. When he was 18, he got accepted into a top-ranking university on the other side of the country. I was sad to see him go, but simultaneously overjoyed that he got into his first choice and was starting a new chapter in his life. He comes home once every other month, and on the months he doesn't come home, I go to visit him in college. He's doing well at uni, has made lots of friends, and seems incredibly happy there, which I'm obviously chuffed about. Since his second year, he's lived with his friend in a flat off campus. I've strongly suspected since his early teens that my son loves men. And I now know more or less have confirmation that this is true and that his friend is actually his boyfriend, but for some reason his son doesn't feel like he can. So for this little pandemic faff, my son decided he'd rather come home and quarantine at mine than stay at his uni flat. His friend, however, would be left alone if my son came back, as he's Canadian and his family is back over there, and I gather he doesn't have the best relationship with them anyway. He asked if it would be okay if his friend tagged along to my house, and I said, of course, no problem. They've been back at mine for about 6 weeks. They think they're being subtle. I know. But I've caught them doing coupley things on several occasions. The friend has slipped up a couple of times, called my son babe and sweetie in front of me, which I pretended not to notice for the sake of saving embarrassment. There have been nights where we'll be watching a film with the lights off and thinking I can't see, my son will have his arm around the friend. One day, I walked into the lounge, and I'd be positive that they had just been kissing and were trying to cover it. Though I admit I have no confirmation on that one. The most solid evidence, however, came a few mornings ago. I get up very early to go for runs in the morning, hence why I'm making a Reddit post at 5 in the morning. As far as I was told, my son was sleeping in his childhood room and his friend was in the guest room. I don't know what possessed me to do so, but on Tuesday morning, I cracked my son's door open to check on him like I used to when he was a kid. Lo and behold, they're both asleep, snuggled up together in my son's bed. That's more or less solidified for me that they're together. I didn't say anything, just shut the door and went for a run. And I haven't mentioned it to them yet either. What I want advice on is this. So chat, give me your advice. Give it to me. How do I let my son and his boyfriend know that I'm okay with them being a couple and they don't have to feel like they have to sneak around in my house? You can smooch in front of daddy, I guess. I want them to be comfortable here And I want them to know I support them both no matter what. Or is that not a good idea? Am I better off leaving it alone and waiting until they tell me themselves? If they ever do, I obviously don't want to force either of them out of the closet, but at the same time, I hate feeling as if they feel like they're being forced into the closet in my house. Sometimes, being in a secret relationship adds to the spice.
I was gonna say
forbidden love.
Being sneaky. It adds a layer.
Adds a layer. A layer to the brick.
That's why we all these stories of people cheating, it's like they kind of like
being sneaky.
There's a sneakiness about it.
Yeah, just let them.
Which doesn't make it okay.
What's the best course of action here? We got some comments. All right, comments. First, congrats on cleaning your life up and being there for your son. Most of the comments here are great, and I think any of them would be fine. Just reassure your son it's okay and that you'll love him no matter his sexuality. My friend's dad left his son a sticky note for him to find that just said he loves him and approves of his boyfriend because he's such a gentleman. Lol. I think reassurance is best, but I love everyone else's comments. And we got an update. Hello, lovely people. As promised, I'm back with an update. Want to top this off with a big thank you. Everyone who left such lovely, thoughtful comments. Honestly, didn't expect so many people to see the post. I was thinking maybe an absolute maximum of 100 people would see it, and even that seemed like loads. It was lovely to hear back from so many of you, and I'm forever grateful for the fantastic advice most of you gave. Also overjoyed by my new adopted Reddit children. Haha, you're all doing amazing. I'm very proud of you all. Also, big thanks to all of the lovely people who sent me such sweet messages of support, and to those of you who reached out to me because you felt you needed someone to talk to. If anyone else feels that way and is in need of dadly advice, do feel free to give me a message and I will do my best to help out. Okay. You all want me to shut up and tell me what happened. My son was busy with some assignments, both for his freelancing job and his uni work most of the day, and I didn't want to disturb him, so I waited until after dinner to chat. The friend that could be the boyfriend that is staying with OP and the dad, went to have a bath while my son and I watched telly. I told him face to face, son, I love you very much. You don't have to tell me anything you don't want, but I want you and friend to feel comfortable being yourselves and loving whatever worm you want to love in my house. And you don't ever need to hide your worms from me. All right? Well, it turns out a heck of a lot of you were right. And son burst out laughing and said, "Oh, thank God. I reckon you clicked on, but didn't say anything because I didn't want to make you feel weird." Basically, we've been pussyfooting around the topic because neither one of us wanted to make the other uncomfortable talking about it. We had a bit of a chat, and he confirmed that I'm right in thinking they've been together since their first year of uni, and that's why they moved in together the second year. However, apparently, I'm not as brilliant and intuitive as I thought because apparently one of his friends in secondary school was his boyfriend for a year, and I had absolutely no idea. So if they wanted to be sneaky, they could. By the way, if you want to be sneaky and listen to us when you least expect we'd know you'd be listening, go over to our podcast, OK Storytime, wherever you get your podcast, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever it is, and just search OK Storytime. Listen to it. Come on.
That's right.
But he went and talked to the boyfriend after his bath, and then we all had a bit of a further chat. Sadly, a lot of you were right that the reason the boyfriend doesn't have a good relationship with his parents is because he came out to them a few years ago, and they effectively disowned him.
What a stinky batch of parental units.
Family, stinky stink. So I made him sure that he knows that he's a part of our family now. Sorry if that's all not as exciting and groundbreaking as some of you hoped. Haha, I'm glad this is something my little boy, no longer feels he has to keep from me, and I'm very glad he's happy with his partner. Thank you all again for the help, and we got some relevant comments with maybe a response from OP. Just imagine being your son's boyfriend and to all of a sudden have an actual home and parent to fall back on. All the money in the world cannot buy that, what you just gave him. That is where that story ends.
Big true. Look
So
at that.
cute. So cute. So cute. We love to see it. We love to be it. We love to onomatopoeias.
That's right.
Beep-a-da-boop. That's my onomatopoeia.